Well, most of the complaints we heard today involved very long lines at the polls. But in Hancock County, a few computer issues led to unexpected delays for voters there. In fact, some ballots also failed to include the county commissioner races because of an error by the software vendor. The county's election board says they were able to fix that problem relatively quickly. And in all politics, the outcome is who turns out and what's on their mind. Take a look at some exit polling from today. On the Democratic side, 22% of the voters identified as independent, not Democrat. That likely helped Sanders win tonight. 17%, almost 1 in 5, were under 30 years old, which was likely another key to victory. And on the Republican side, 55% were white evangelicals, higher than the average in other states, and yet Trump won handedly. 53% of those voters said they felt betrayed by their party, which was a huge key for Donald Trump.
So the next presidential primaries are 1 week from today. On May 10th, in West Virginia, Republican and Democratic voters will head to the polls, and in Nebraska, it will be just the GOP primary. And another race many Hoosiers were watching tonight was the fight for the open GOP Senate seat. Congressman Todd Young won by a wide margin over Congressman Marlin Stutzman, 67 to 33%, as you can see. This is with about 95% of the precincts reporting.
And tonight comes after a very heated campaign against Stutzman. Republicans are trying to keep the seat that's opening up with the retirement of Senator Dan Coates.
And we understand the consequences of this race. If we don't hold on to Indiana's U.S. Senate seat, Republican Senate seat, we may well not retain control of the entire U.S. Senate. And so I aim to work very hard to earn the trust and support of every Hoosier conservative.
Young is the state's 9th district representative and has been in the House since 2011. And he will now take on former Democratic Congressman Barron Hill in the November general election this fall. The race is a rematch 6 years in the making. You may remember the two faced each other back in 2010 for the 9th district seat. Young beat Hill, who was the incumbent at the time.
Hoosiers really don't care about that rematch. They care about what's affecting their lives. I've been crisscrossing the state, Kevin, for the last year. And there's a feeling of uncertainty out there about where their lives are going, how they're going to pay for the kids' education, if they're going to have a job, that sort of thing. And I'm going to focus like a laser beam in this election on that issue. You know, my mother and father were...
Hill was unopposed for the Democratic nomination.
3 local school districts put referendums on the local ballots tonight, and all 3 were successful. In Hamilton Southeastern, voters approved a tax increase of 22 cents, or about $220 for every $100,000 of assessed value, by a wide margin there. In Speedway, voters agreed to continue a tax that costs homeowners about $200 a year. And voters in Noblesville agreed to change the tax rate to get the school district $6 million more per year. The goal is to reduce class sizes and attract and retain quality teachers.
And the race for the 9th congressional district has been called on both tickets as well. For the Republicans, 32-year-old millionaire Trey Hollingsworth won by double digits over his closest competitor, Aaron Houchin. Hollingsworth just moved here to Indiana last year from Tennessee. And on the other side of the aisle, Democrat Shelley Yoder also won by a very large margin.
All of our primary results posted at WTHR.com.